This area is day or night, you know, they're moving. They know where the guys come to drop off the fentanyl at these gas stations or these different places, and they have a whole network. But if you're from Albuquerque, you're from New Mexico, you're a certain way. And we grew up with these realities, you know. Fentanyl is just the new thing. What have we had before it, you know? When I was young, heroin really shaped my life and my family's life in Espanola. I was able to get away from that place and move to Moriarty, and there was meth everywhere, you know, single wide trailers full of meth. And now we've come into the opioid epidemic, and it's turned into this thing called fentanyl that was made in a lab, and it's like sustaining these people like zombies.
We just hoping and praying that the community can get, you know, restored. Go to the sheriffs and the SWAT team. They definitely trying to clean up the community because they're asking for suggestions. My name's Jutaro, y'all. Trying to clean up Albuquerque, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, good luck with that.
Area. Vehicles 8 dark green Tesla. Vehicle at high rate speed in elbow lane. Last seen approximately 4 to 5 ago now. Nothing further.
The streets of Albuquerque, New Mexico are not to be played with, especially as they face an increased rate of homelessness and a mass surge of fentanyl, driven by the production of small pills called blues, which are pressed and packaged in Mexico by cartels, who receive the raw fentanyl precursor materials from Chinese chemists, who operate with little to no consequences from their government.
The Drug Enforcement Agency estimates 90% of fentanyl comes from Chinese companies that not only operate legally inside of China, but are also subsidized and paid for by the Chinese Communist Party.
There's a new drug of choice in New Mexico that's causing problems like the state's never seen before.
It's in our communities. It's found everywhere we go. Bernalillo County reported nearly 69 deaths per 100,000 people.
That fentanyl's killing a whole lot of people. Back in the days, it used to be Sheba, it used to be heroin, homes, you know?
Overnight, it seemed like the blues came in, and I just started to see everybody that like I knew that was getting high on just the heroin, go to the pills, like their whole lifestyle changed.
If you notice that also in the beginning of like a century, there always seems to be something in regards to like substances. Well, hold on. No, I take that back. I'm what the because I was going to refer to it as the crack epidemic, but that happened in the 80s. That was towards the end of the last century. But this is, I want to say it's like a 10-year cycle. I could be wrong.
You know what I mean? Like they started losing everything. You know what I mean? Like people are going out and just stealing shit right and left. You know what I mean? If it ain't bolted down, somebody's gonna take it. You know what I mean?
In the years prior, Albuquerque's gritty reputation was something that many well-to-do residents saw as quirky, a small blemish on an otherwise strong city, often ironically celebrated through the veneration of the character Walter White, a fictional meth dealer from the series Breaking Bad, who once called the ABQ home. But the surge in violence and property crime that's accompanied the advent of blues has caused residents to get serious and push for a real solution. Much like in San Francisco, where I visited.
That wasn't the drug. That is Narcan. That's what to wake people up that overdose on fentanyl.
Visited a nonprofit facility called the Gubbio Project, who distributes safe supplies to drug users in the hopes of curtailing the overdose rate. Albuquerque is home to several nonprofits that work in harm reduction, one of which is called the Endorphin Power Company.
So I'm Jeff Holland. I'm the executive director here at the Endorphin Power Company in Albuquerque's International District. I'm also a clinician at New Mexico Wellness Residential Treatment Center and Detox. Yeah, we're a very unique housing model that helps people coming out of treatment who might be facing homelessness or who might be facing a situation where they think they need more support or they don't want to return to a dangerous situation.
They have way too many people trying to get into this place. I guarantee you. I mean, if you're lucky to get into this place, good, best, congrats. Nah, I guarantee you they have like stacks of papers of applicants trying to get into this place.
We're a non-denominational program. It's not faith-based, it's not this-based, it's whatever works for the individual. So, if going to church works, that's fine. If going to 12-step works, that's fine. If practicing Buddhism, that's fine. We're just going to hold you to something. So we have case managers here. Everybody gets assigned a case manager, so you don't just live here. You actually meet with people to help you set and achieve your goals. And the four...
Kind of like a halfway house for rehab.
Non-negotiables of our program are exercise, education, service, and community. So all the residents here have to do something for their physical health on a daily basis for 30 minutes. They have to do something for their brain health for 30 minutes, which is learning something new. It can be school, YouTube video, reading a book, reading the newspaper, whatever.
You have to show progress.
They've got to be a part of the community where they live, because the biggest support system you have are the people you surround yourself with on a regular basis.
We got to be careful though, because the people you surround with can put you right back into behavior that you're trying to get away from.
So they got to spend at least 30 minutes a day here with their community, and then you have to give back to the community without expectation of reward for up to 3 hours a month.
Despite these pretty straightforward tenets, Jeff says it's become increasingly difficult to serve the community, based solely on the strength of fentanyl, which has doubled the number of users seeking their services.
So 10 years ago, the flavor of the month was heroin, right? Right now, that's all shifted into fentanyl. You're always going to have meth and alcohol and cocaine and all that. I think now, because fentanyl is so much cheaper and so much stronger, you know, the junkie's dream, give me the strongest stuff possible, take me to the edge of death. We're seeing quite a few more people. So same symptoms, same look, just more of it.
The fentanyl is just really fucked people up, you know what I mean? It's taken a lot of people's lives. I mean, it's almost taken my life a few times, you know what I mean?
And I used to be a heroin addict. I done 10 years in prison, got out in 2017, and that was a pretty big difference to me from what it used to be back in the days, you know what I mean? There's a lot of murders, there's a lot of homeless people. Whatever the fuck they're smoking is bad.
I overdosed probably about 3 months ago. I was lucky enough to that got brought back. Like I said, one minute I'm sitting here having a conversation with you, and then the next minute I'm waking up on the floor and I got paramedics around me, and my girl on the side of me crying because I stopped breathing, and you know what I mean, she was trying to do CPR on me to wake me back up.
The overdose rate has increased. Fentanyl's been a little bit harder. It's a little harder to detox from because a lot of the detox meds don't touch it as quick as it would touch heroin. So like where maybe you could go through the worst of heroin in 3 to 5 days with
So it's like an opiate, but it is not as much, I guess.
fentanyl. It's probably like that 7 to 10 day range. During overdoses, it's taking a lot more Narcan to bring people out of fentanyl overdoses. Heroin, you might hit someone 2-3 times. Shit, with fentanyl, you could hit them 6-7 times, you know, until they snap out of it.
I had the issue last night. I almost lost my girl, you know what I mean? She got high, and I started looking at her, and she was kind of incoherent. I brought her away. The first thing that popped in my mind is she's gonna overdose, you know what I mean? So I started running around the streets right here, finding Narcan and running back upstairs and just making sure she was all right, you know what I mean? But it's scary, dude. You know what I mean? It's scary when it's that close to home, you know what I mean?
Like every other public health crisis in America, the fentanyl catastrophe in Albuquerque has created a major blame game as
When it comes to fentanyl, it is like way more prevalent than just in the United States. Albuquerque, it's sad, but dude, like I guarantee you there are worse places. Not to say that this isn't tragic, but what I'm saying is, chat, is that this is a big problem in a lot of states in America.
to who's responsible for the situation. In leftist American discourse, especially far away from the epicenter of the problem, it's easy to blame Big Pharma, or perhaps America's broken spiritual core, for causing addiction, which then created the cartel demand. But those in the space feel that what's happening right now simply goes far beyond basic supply and demand tenets, and is somewhat evil.
They have figured out, like, hey, if we can manufacture fentanyl in these little pills and sell it for $2 a hit, what else can we manufacture into a little dose and sell it super cheap? The insidiousness of the nature of the drug is just, it seems a lot dirtier, a lot greasier, a lot grimier. I mean, these are the zombies on the street, right? They're bent over, standing in a median, bent over, like they're not falling down, but they're just bent over, and they seem like they're out of it. They're smoking out in public, and it's just really insidious. The synthetic market is getting bigger, and it's not going to stop.
All right, what's up?
No, of course not. It's going to grow because you can gain profit off of less work, less material, more profit.
People, just want to stop you real quick and remind y'all that we actually filmed this documentary about 1.5 years ago. And since then, things have gotten a little bit better from a fentanyl seizure perspective. The DOJ announced last week the largest fentanyl seizure in U.S. history just occurred. And guess where it was? 2 of New Mexico's largest cities, Albuquerque, and somehow the hamlet of Santa Fe, a rich town which apparently also has fentanyl. Let's take a look at how the media covered that. As we know, different outlets push different agendas, shaping the story to fit their own narrative, which is why independent reporting matters, and we here at Channel 5 are 100% committed to bringing y'all raw, unfiltered coverage straight from the streets. But before we hit the streets, we get informed, using what, you might ask? Ground news. Ground news is a dope-ass news aggregate that lets you see exactly how different media outlets, left, right, and center, are covering the same story as it unfolds. Here, you can see, using the Ground News Bias Distribution tool, how the left and right are covering
covering U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi's announcement of the country's largest ever fentanyl bust. The left-leaning Source New Mexico headline reads, "Feds announce largest fentanyl bust in U.S. history, partially in New Mexico." Meanwhile, the ultra-right Daily Wire headline is focused on highlighting a villainous foreign threat and the danger of illegal immigration. Feds make largest fentanyl bust in history and arrest illegal alien with ties to a deadly cartel. And while the headline isn't wrong, the language being used is obviously meant to elicit a certain reaction from the reader. The difference in who's emphasizing what part of a story is always something to keep an eye on. Ground news. Another thing I love about ground news is how it helps you figure out what's genuinely newsworthy by showing you how many sources are covering a story. That kind of transparency helps you clock if an article's legit or...
This is what Hassan needs to use. This is what Hassan needs to use. I guarantee you, I would be shocked if he's not using this 100%. Because you know who the sources are, you know who's like what the most read topics are. You have the article bias where is it far left, is it lean right, you know what I mean? Like this can cover his ass and by basically allowing him to be more lazy.
Just nonsense, born inside of an algorithmic echo chamber. Another feature I love to use, their blind spot tool, which shows you the stories that might not be appearing in your typical media bubble. For all those reasons, I trust Ground News to help Channel 5.
I did go to this. I want to say Ground News has been around for a while. There was a story that I found that in regards to like the largest trafficking. I'm trying to say it so that way I don't have to like bleep out the words. In regards to like kids, and it was done by multiple agencies.
Live cut right through the noise. And right now, you can subscribe for 40% off the Unlimited Access Vantage plan, bringing the cost down to less than $5 a month. Just scan the QR code on the screen or click the link below to sign up. Supporting Ground News, in turn, helps support us, which means we can keep making videos like this, giving you coverage that isn't watered down or dictated by corporate interests. So check it out, stay informed, and most importantly, don't let the media tell you what to think. All right, back to the streets of Albuquerque. Much like in California, the tax-paying public
I know it was an ad, but I felt like that was an important ad. I felt like that needed attention.
Doesn't seem to care too much about drug users until they become homeless en masse, which, because of the eyesore and declining property value factor, often leads to renewed calls for city accountability. In Albuquerque, the city responded, as cities often do, with sweeps, closing down major public parks where homeless people live in the hopes that they would either die or recover somewhere else.
More than a year ago, Coronado Park had to close because homeless camping here had gotten so bad. At that time, a little over 1,300 people were experiencing homelessness in Albuquerque, and now that number has risen.
This is what the underpass looked like in early March. We witnessed open drug use and clothing on fire on the sidewalk.
There are now 2,394 people experiencing homelessness in Albuquerque, a nearly 83% increase from last year.
I've been homeless before. I've been out on the streets before. Honestly, I didn't like it. I didn't like being fucking out there on them streets with no money, Holmes. Some of these people don't know what to do. And once you go to the streets, these fucking streets will suck you up.
A lot of people don't want to have a drug addict at their house or on their kids, their property. You know what I mean? They think that, okay, well, because this person gets high, they're going to rip me off or they're going to...
Well, yeah, probably. And I mean, why the hell would you want... If you have somebody who's actively doing drugs, then yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. That they're protecting a kid. I don't have any, no. Okay? They're looking out for their children. They are not doing anything wrong. Absolutely not.
You know what I mean? Still my shit.
God forbid God forbid the kids get into your dude shit.
Some days are miserable. I just got this new tent. I came up on last night, but the mother tent behind it, we're getting hold up that night. It snowed and rained. I woke up, fucking my clothes were wet, soaked, drenched, miserable as fuck. I had to go to court. My birthday. It was my birthday. Court. What? Hey, I'm trying my hardest, Annis. I'm trying my hardest. But yeah.
You don't know who's out there, to be honest with you. You don't know who's out there. There could be a husband out there. There could be somebody's grandma, somebody's kid. You don't know who's out there, bro. But why do people hit the streets? Why are people homeless? They lose jobs. Moms and dads kick them out. They get divorced. Something made them go out there, right? something in their life went fucked up.
If you don't have anywhere else to go, if you don't have anybody else to talk to, if you don't have any source of support that you feel like you're drowning in a sea of addiction or whatever, if we can't help you, we're never more than one person away to get you help, right? And that's kind of our philosophy. We just want to be that place, that go-to place.
Others, especially in our generation, believe the true solution to the problem is within reach, especially by way of funding organizations like Jeff's, but that politicians like to keep these problems going to keep their pockets full.
We have this wonderful concept called reversibility. A problem might spontaneously appear like fentanyl or homelessness, and all of a sudden everyone is surprised. But the same people that created the policies, that created the displacement, are also the same cronies and friends that get paid to fix it much later. And we call this reversibility.
Sometimes you have liberal politicians that'll say, oh, we're creating affordable housing. What they don't tell you is that they're giving away millions of dollars to already wealthy developers to create this affordable housing. But the affordable housing is
She's cute.
only affordable for so many years. Then it gets popped up to market rate and gentrification.
We're continually assured the best and brightest are going to fix our community and these complex problems, but it's all just stayed the same the majority of my life or gotten incredibly worse.
What are our tax dollars going to? It should be going to housing our people, for health care. And yeah, definitely we have a big substance abuse issue in Albuquerque, and you know, we need to be thinking about ways to solve that from like a non-judgmental health perspective.
There's probably places international.
Good luck with that, bro. Good luck with that. There are so many other addicts with different types of addictions that want the same thing. Good luck with that.
That have tackled a lot of these problems that are ahead of us, you know, whether it's heroin, whether it's meth, whether it's opioids, whether it's fentanyl, whether it's, to me, even alcohol, you know. It decimates our communities, and we have to start asking why.
For many, myself included, there seems to be a big connection between real estate developers and the proliferation of the open-air drug zones that seem to be confined to a small radius in American cities. One place you may have seen this is in our coverage of Kensington, the open-air drug market in Philadelphia. In every direction south and west of the area where police turn a strange and mysterious blind eye to the hellish street scenes unfolding every day.
Probably just get tired of it. You get desensitized to it.
Entire blocks.
As long as nobody's getting hurt and stuff, then hell yeah. You're like, yes, they are getting hurt, Scuffy. They're killing themselves. You're right, bro. You're right. But it's amazing. If this is what that's your job. You go in and day out, and you see people just doing this shit to themselves. You tend to become hard. You tend to armor up because you get tired of feeling sorry for them.
Are being torn down to make way for massive apartment complexes owned by mega developers like Templetown Realty, who have contracts with either universities or the cities themselves. The business model of many of these city-connected real estate companies, many in the neighborhood speculated, is to use the dejected homeless population to lower property values so the companies can tear shit down and make new stuff to make more money.
So many of these politicians are invested in the real estate industry. They really don't represent the people. They represent those interests that, you know, often fund their campaigns. We see it from the city to state level. You know, we've got one brave ally, Senator Linda Lopez. She's reintroducing this bill right now, actually, to make rent control legal. Because actually it's illegal for us to put a limit on how much landlords squeeze money out of us, right? Last session we tried to do the same thing, and the committee that we were in, a lot of those guys are landlords themselves. So it's a complete uphill battle. The system's completely built to benefit, you know, the very, very small percentage of landlords and developers, and it's to the disadvantage of the majority of us in New Mexico who rent.
A few years ago, we bought a triplex across the street because we realized some of the people that were leaving our program, they were being discriminated against in terms of getting a nice place. Like, they would have good jobs, making good money, and they would go to these places and they would just look at their background or lack of background and be like, no, you can't live here.
You know, this is the type of stuff, it's like, you know, housing is a huge barrier to people in Albuquerque and people in New Mexico. Like,
it's not, no, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. The way that when it comes to housing, it's everywhere. Even if there is no like heavy drug use around, it's everything is expensive. Everything is expensive.
Like just being able to survive, you know, and like how can you grow as a person? How can you like be a healthy person mentally and physically if like you can't even have housing accessible?
But we know that in many situations, full drug legalization can lead to a complete nightmare, especially in municipalities like Portland, Oregon, where the same drugs that are made legal are also deeply criminalized in other states and counties that are just a few hours away by car. What happens is that because of the disparity in law, many of the drug users, to avoid jail time and citations, decide to all head to the city so they can not go to jail, and the harm reduction nonprofit resources are stretched thin to the point of capacity.
My city, my state is getting diced up, and it goes to the highest bidder, and you end up displacing a lot of people. It's kind of a mess. I don't know, other than money coming in and completely changing these neighborhoods, and then they go somewhere else. I don't know where they go. I don't know where this problem goes.
Some people are like, arrest everybody and put them in jail and make everything illegal. Like, well, maybe for some people that's gonna work, you know, and other people are like, legalize everything and decriminalize everything and just let everybody do what they want. And for some people that's gonna work.
But despite this scene on the ground, Albuquerque from a legal perspective is not like Portland, SF, or Seattle. It's more like Vegas or Phoenix. You can't just technically do drugs on the streets there. And many people on the Albuquerque streets began their career in jail and prison with petty drug possession charges.
I used to be a heroin addict, and my first bid was in 2001. That's when I got sentenced. I got locked up in 2000. I didn't learn for a long time, man. You know, I took that little trip down that road to the Pinta, where most of us, I could say most of my homies anyways, ended up. And I done about 15 years. I've done 15 years, and yeah. And I did everything that I said I was gonna do once I put my mind to it in the joint. This is what I tell my homeboys when they get out. If they call me, they tell me, and like I tell them, if you guys—
Can you do that? Are you allowed to associate with ex-felons?
love your freedom and you enjoy your freedom, you're gonna stay clean, Holmes, because if you don't stay clean, eventually you're gonna get caught and you're gonna go back.
Whatever reason you have, at what point do we say, look, we've got to find something better? I'm saying maybe we need to make the jails more therapeutic. Maybe we need to put appropriate clinical services in the jail so we can say, Joe, you're really struggling, man, and we're really worried about—
Those will be exhausted because you'll probably have a lot of people that will purposely go to jail because they want to go ahead and get clean. That sounds messed up, but you'd be surprised how people would think. Am I saying that they shouldn't do it? No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if they're going to do this in regards to helping people, and when it comes to like clinical help and counseling and stuff, it's gonna be expensive. And guess where that comes from? It doesn't come from donations. It comes from taxes. Do you really think people are going to approve? It depends on the city. Depends on the location. Yes, you know. But do you really? It's not. People are pretty much not going to say, yes, you can use our tax dollars to help criminals or people that are suffering from addiction.
You as a person in our society that you're going to die. We have a program in our jail, so you're not getting out of jail like 3 days off of fentanyl or 5 days with no home, no services, no support. We want you to just stay here. Let's do a 45-day, 90-day, whatever treatment, and let's just try and get him some social support. So when you leave here, you're not leaving here, you're actually walking into something. You're gonna leave here and go immediately into housing. A lot of people want to say that I'm saying incarcerate addiction, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying the entire system has to think differently. But this whole thing where it's just about wins and losses on the attorney side, that's some bullshit. So how can we think about it from top to bottom to be better, right?
There's really not an answer to how you're gonna fix that in New Mexico, that's for sure.
At some point, when is it incumbent upon us as a society to help people who can't help themselves? We gotta think of it in those terms. Otherwise, we're just stepping on our own dick all the time.
Channel 5 live worldwide, Hollywood and Vine.
Fuck the authority, Channel 5 News. Channel 55. We don't fuck with cuss. 5 is the best number.
I love Crip Mac, bro. We keep 55th Street. I love Crip Mac, bro. You're funny.
My name's Bel Cisneros. I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico. And right now we're here at downtown Albuquerque at Por Vida Tattoo. I was born and raised here in Albuquerque, the South Valley, and right here in this neighborhood, Morelos. When my parents got divorced when I was 12 years old, I moved down here with my grandfather. So I grew up not far from here, about 1 minute walk. With the growing in population and, comes along all the other stuff. I've seen a lot of buildings be built.
I don't understand why people want to have buildings that are all colored and stuff like this. Oh wow, we're like, it's ugly as fuck.
A lot of the land get developed. I guess it depends what part of Albuquerque you're at, but to me it's like a very clean city, our air is real clean and stuff like that. As far as like the inner city, we have a lot of course, fentanyl. That's the main thing that I would see. And it's all caused by that. Probably all around America the same. Like inner city shit, the homeless and stuff like that. They're real harmless, we have a lot of petty crime and stuff like that, but that's pretty much it, It's affected me in a positive and a negative way. Just as it does with everyone in every city, You don't want your customers' cars getting broken into and stuff like that, and that happens. But at the same time, they're out there doing jobs too, that other people don't want to do. You have them picking up trash in the parking lot and shit like that. So as far as change in culture, it's been interesting too, because my era was like the Cholo era. Everyone was into the Cholo stuff and gangs and stuff, and it's a lot different now. You don't see so much of it, which is kind of nice. I don't know about the Cholo stuff. I like that stuff, but the gangs and shit, you don't see a whole lot of it. I know they're out there, but it's not like it used to be. In my eyes, it's gotten better. I understand, like, if you were to go off of statistics, like crime or whatever is up, but I mean, so is the population. So there would be more crime, obviously. It's beautiful. It's the land of opportunity. I feel like, you hear that a lot from people from Albuquerque.
I like this. I like that you're getting a different perspective. You're getting someone else's perspective. It's not just blatantly having it shoved down like this is an issue, which people are, these kinds of stories do that because they want people to wake up. They're like, yo, this is the issue. This needs attention.
That they move out of Albuquerque and search for opportunity, but for me, it's the opposite. Albuquerque's so nice for opportunity. For one, because startups on businesses and stuff, your cost is real low. On top of, everyone knows each other, so if you need to get shit done, it's real easy to get shit done. There's always somebody that knows somebody. It's big enough to start a business, but it's not too big to where you're just working all alone, You got a lot of people that'll back you on whatever you do, in my experience. I guess this is how you look at it, because for myself, it's been the best city to grow up in for all those reasons. I've had the support of a lot of people, but no, it's been good. The city's nice, it's beautiful. It's hard for me to say about any negativity on it because I've never experienced it in my life,
Cool. You want to tell them where they can find you? Maybe your shop, Instagram, shout out, or anything like that?
Yeah, you can check us up on Instagram. It's Por Vida 505. The shop is right here downtown on 504th Street Southwest. Yeah, that's it. Our website's Por Vida, New Mexico. PorVidaABQ.com. Sorry. Yeah, PorVidaABQ.com, and from our website you could find everything.
Okay, that was cool.
Yeah, perfect.
Cool.
That's it.
Sorry, dog. I don't have so much to say.
No, that's perfect. No, that's.
Like I said, a different take.